The dawn of the 20th century found America at a crossroads. The nation was experiencing rapid growth and transformation, with bustling cities and a booming economy. The Industrial Revolution had taken hold, and America was emerging as a global power. The nation was grappling with its newfound industrial might and expanding global interests, which brought both opportunities and challenges. Factories were churning out goods at an unprecedented rate, and the American workforce was growing. Yet, a deep-rooted isolationist sentiment prevailed. Many Americans believed that the country should focus on its own development and avoid becoming entangled in foreign conflicts. The echoes of George Washington's farewell address, urging the nation to steer clear of foreign entanglements, still resonated strongly. His words had left an indelible mark on the American psyche, shaping the nation's foreign policy for decades. The horrors of war seemed a distant European affair, one that had little bearing on the burgeoning American dream. The trenches and battlefields of Europe were far removed from the everyday lives of most Americans. Public opinion largely favored neutrality. Newspapers and public discourse reflected a strong desire to stay out of the conflict, emphasizing the benefits of peace and prosperity at home. The conflict in Europe, sparked by the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo, was seen as a distant quarrel among empires. The complex web of alliances and rivalries seemed irrelevant to the average American. The U.S., with its diverse population and strong immigrant communities, found itself torn between ancestral loyalties and a desire to remain uninvolved. Many immigrants had left war-torn regions seeking peace and a better life in America. This internal struggle further fueled the isolationist stance, reinforcing the belief that America should prioritize its own interests above all else. Political cartoons and propaganda emphasized the dangers of foreign entanglements. President Woodrow Wilson, a staunch advocate for peace, reflected the nation's desire to remain neutral. His speeches often highlighted the importance of staying out of the war and focusing on domestic issues. He won re-election in 1916 on the slogan, "He kept us out of war," a testament to the prevailing sentiment of the time. The American public overwhelmingly supported his stance on neutrality. However, events on the world stage were moving rapidly, and America's isolationist stance would soon be put to the ultimate test. The escalating conflict in Europe and the increasing threat to American interests could not be ignored. The relentless march of war with its devastating consequences would soon shatter the illusion of detachment, dragging the U.S. into a conflict that would reshape its destiny and the world order. The entry into World War I marked a turning point, forever altering America's role on the global stage. Maintaining neutrality proved increasingly difficult as the war in Europe raged on. The United States, initially committed to staying out of the conflict, found its position increasingly untenable as the violence and chaos spread across the continent. German submarine warfare, particularly the sinking of the Lusitania in 1915 with the loss of American lives, inflamed public opinion. The ruthless nature of these attacks, targeting civilian vessels without warning, shocked the American public and government alike. The Lusitania, a British ocean liner, was torpedoed without warning, killing over 1,000 passengers, including 128 Americans. This tragic event highlighted the brutal reality of the war and the potential threat to American lives and interests. The incident sent shockwaves through American society, shattering the illusion of safety and distance from the war. People began to realize that the oceans no longer provided a sufficient barrier against the growing global conflict. The Zimmermann telegram, intercepted and decoded by British intelligence in 1917, further fueled the fire. This secret communication revealed Germany's audacious plans to incite conflict on American soil. This secret diplomatic cable from Germany to Mexico proposed a military alliance against the United States. The very idea of a foreign power plotting an attack on American territory was enough to stir the nation into action. Germany promised Mexico financial and military support to reclaim territories lost in the Mexican-American War, including Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. This bold promise was a direct threat to American sovereignty and security. The revelation of this audacious plan outraged the American public, turning the tide of public opinion decisively in favor of war. Citizens who had once advocated for neutrality now demanded action to protect the nation. President Wilson, facing mounting pressure and a growing sense of moral obligation, asked Congress for a declaration of war against Germany in April 1917, His decision marked a pivotal moment in American history. He framed the conflict as a war to end all wars and a fight for democracy against tyranny. This powerful rhetoric resonated deeply with the American people, who were now ready to support the war effort. With the declaration of war, America abandoned its isolationist stance and stepped onto the world stage, ready to play a decisive role in shaping the outcome of the conflict. The nation mobilized its resources and manpower, preparing to make significant sacrifices for the cause of freedom and democracy. The entry of the United States into the war had a profound impact on the morale of the Allied forces, who had been locked in a grueling stalemate with Germany and its allies. The fresh influx of American soldiers brought a renewed sense of hope and determination to the exhausted Allied troops. American troops, fresh and eager to prove themselves, began arriving in Europe in significant numbers in 1918. Their arrival marked a significant shift in the dynamics of the war. Their presence boosted the Allied ranks, providing much-needed manpower and resources to a war-weary Europe. The American soldiers brought with them not only physical strength, but also a psychological boost to the Allied forces. The American Expeditionary Forces, led by General John J. Pershing, played a crucial role in several key battles, helping to turn the tide of the war in favor of the Allies. Pershing's leadership and the determination of his troops were instrumental in these victories. One such battle was the Battle of Belleau Wood, where U.S. Marines fought with tenacity and courage against a determined German force. The fierce combat at Belleau Wood became legendary, showcasing the resolve and bravery of the American forces. This battle, though costly in terms of casualties, demonstrated the fighting spirit and resolve of the American troops, earning them the respect of their allies and foes alike. The sacrifices made by these soldiers were not in vain, as their efforts significantly contributed to the Allied war effort. Another significant engagement was the Battle of Château-Thierry, where American forces helped halt the German advance on Paris. This battle was crucial in preventing the Germans from capturing the French capital. This battle marked a turning point in the war, as it shattered the myth of German invincibility and bolstered Allied morale. The success at Château-Thierry was a testament to the effectiveness and bravery of the American troops. The American troops, fighting alongside their French and British counterparts, displayed remarkable bravery and resilience, proving their mettle on the battlefields of Europe. Their contributions were pivotal in the eventual Allied victory, showcasing the strength and unity of the Allied forces. The Meuse-Argonne Offensive, launched in September 1918, was the largest and most costly military operation in American history up to that point. Over 1 million American soldiers participated in this massive offensive, which aimed to break through the German lines and secure a decisive victory for the Allies. The battle raged for 47 days and nights, a relentless and brutal struggle across a landscape scarred by war. The fighting in the Meuse-Argonne was characterized by intense artillery barrages, machine gun fire, and poison gas attacks. The terrain, a muddy and heavily forested region, made movement and communication difficult, adding to the already horrific conditions. American soldiers, many of them inexperienced but filled with a sense of purpose, fought with determination and courage, pushing back the German forces yard by bloody yard. The Meuse-Argonne offensive, though a victory for the Allies, came at a heavy price. Over 26,000 American soldiers lost their lives, and over 95,000 were wounded. This gruesome battle, etched in the annals of military history, served as a stark reminder of the human cost of war and the sacrifices made by those who fight for their country. The victory, however, paved the way for the armistice that ended the war on November 11, 1918.